Hi, Savvy. Hi, Ivy. I have a book that I want to read to you girls. You know how Ivy gets a book, like you used to do. Savvy used to get the books once a month. Well, now Ivy gets the books once a month until she gets too big. And the other day, one of those books came in the mail. And when I saw that book, I was instantly transported back to my own childhood when I was 6 years old. And Captain Kangaroo, who was a man that had a TV show that was for kids, and you learned things, and he read books, and there were funny things going on, Mr. Moose and Mr. Green Jeans, and ping pong balls falling from the ceiling, and all that kind of fun stuff. Well, this book, one day, Captain Kangaroo read this book on his TV show, and I fell in love with it, and I remember it to this day. And that's been 50 plus years ago. The name of the book's Caps for Sale by Zephyr Slobkina. And it's a really interesting book, and I want to read it to you girls today. All right? Here's this front page. Caps for Sale. Tale of a peddler, some monkeys, and their monkey business. And let me see if I can turn the page. This is not easy to do. I don't know how Captain Kangaroo did it. All right. Once there was a peddler who sold caps. But he was not like any ordinary peddler, carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. See the caps up there on top of his head? First, he had on his own checkered cap. There it is. Then a bunch of gray caps. Then a bunch of brown caps. Then a bunch of blue caps. And on the very top, a bunch of red caps. You think you could do that? Walk along with those caps sitting on your head like that? I don't think I could. I'd be done tripped over something and all those hats would come falling down. Okay. He walked up and down the streets holding himself very straight so as not to upset his caps. As he went along, he called, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" 50 cents. That's a deal. And there he is walking up and down the street with his caps on his head. And the people in the village's houses there. One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street, and he walked down the street, calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" But nobody wanted any caps that morning. Nobody even wanted a red cap. He began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch because he'd sold no caps. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," he said. And he walked out of town slowly, slowly, so as not to upset his caps. See, here he's going out of town with his caps, walking out in the country. Okay. He walked for a long time until he came to a great tree. "That's a nice place for a rest," thought he. And he sat down very slowly under the tree and leaned back little by little against the tree trunk so as not to disturb all the caps on his head. Then he put his hand up to feel if they were straight. He first checked his own gray check cap. Then he checked the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, and then the red caps at the very top. And there he sits with his caps all in a row, leaned up against the tree. Gonna take a little snooze. They were all there and very straight, so he went to sleep, and he slept for a long time. He must have been really tired. Guess it takes a lot out of you to be trying to sell caps and nobody buys them. When he woke up, Oh, he was all refreshed and rested. See something missing? The story gets better. But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were in the right place. And all he felt was his own checked cap. They're all gone. Where in the world could his caps have gone? He looked to the right. No caps. He looked to the left. No caps. He looked in the back of him. No caps. He looked behind the tree. No caps. Then he looked up into the tree. See him looking up into the tree? I don't see anything. What do you think he saw? Look at that. What do you see there? On every branch sat a monkey. And on every monkey was a gray or a brown or a blue or a red cap. Look at that. Look at all those monkeys. All those caps. The blue and the brown and the red and the gray. Oh my. What is he gonna do? The peddler looked at the monkeys. The monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to the monkeys. There the monkeys, they all got, look at the smiles they got on their face. They think that's really funny, don't they? Poor old peddler. You monkeys, you, he said, shaking a finger at them. You give me back my caps. But the monkeys only shook their finger at the peddler and said, sassy monkeys. This made the peddler very angry. Ooh, and he shook both hands and said, you monkeys, you give me back my caps. See him shaking his hands there? But the monkeys only looked and shook both their hands back at him and said, You see, look at the monkeys shaking their hands at the peddler. Bless his heart. Poor old peddler. Now he got really angry. And he stamped his foot. And he said, you monkeys, you better give me back my caps. But the monkeys only stamped their little feet back at him and said, silly monkeys. Look, he's stamping his foot. Look at him, he's stamping his foot at the monkeys. And the monkeys are stamping their little feet back at him. By this time, the peddler was really very, very angry. He stamped both his feet and shouted, you monkeys, you must give me back my caps. But the monkeys only stamped both their feet and said, stamping his feet, both of them, at the monkeys. And the monkeys stamping both of their feet and going at that poor old peddler. At last, he became so angry that he pulled off his own gray cap, threw it on the ground, and began to walk away. See there? He throwing his cap down on the ground. Lost his temper, didn't he? But then, each monkey pulled off his cap and, what do you think? Look at the monkeys. They pulled all the caps off. Look at the peddler. He's looking up at him like, what are you doing now? And all the gray caps, and all the brown caps, and all the blue caps, and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. See, look at the caps all falling down out of the tree. Look at that. Kind of look like leaves, don't they, in the fall? All right, let's see what we got here. So, the peddler picked up his caps and put them back on his head. First his own checkered cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, and then the blue caps, and then the red caps on the very top. Look at that. He's stacking them up all nice and neat. Look at that. Stacking them up nice and neat, and then he's getting ready to put them up on his head. Can you imagine walking around with those on his head? And slowly, slowly, he walked back to town calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" There he goes, walking back to town with all his caps back on his head. See there? And that is the end of the story. No more story. This book, when I saw it, and I just instantly remembered that cover, I got excited when I saw it because I love books. Nana loves books, and I love to read because it transports you to a whole different place. You just visited a town in Russia. That's where the lady that wrote this story lives. And that's what people did back in those days. They had peddlers. And they walked up and down the streets in the town selling their caps or selling pots and pans or cheese or fruit. And they called out, "Pots and pans for sale, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." Can you imagine? We don't do that anymore around here. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story. And I hope that I get another book. I've got some over here on my bookshelf that I might do this again. If you enjoyed it, you let me know. I love you, girls. I love you more than you'll ever know. Bye-bye.